Greetings, I'm still on section 5. I really like where you say there is no shall do. There, you are not prescribing anything. These are ideas to consider and to use, because if you prescribe it, you will fail. Now there's one, and so I really applaud you for that. But then, if you're using this, don't go and do everything there. Make a decision about what's needed appropriately to the system you're working in. Next, I do not see one of the most prevailing notions about change management in here. I didn't do the search, but I don't see the word cascading. What goes on with change management right now, for the most part, is the top decides the future state with their strategy, whatever they're doing, and they roll it out. They cascade it down through the organization. And by the time it gets cascaded down, the strategy has changed. And people resist cascading. So I'm glad you don't have it there, but you've got to have a way to involve the organization. And for me, this is very unclear. And of course, I have the answer to that. It's large groups, summits that Cooper Ryder does, that Ford, the way that Ford was saved, okay, the way that Boeing operates, okay. And the other comment I want to talk about is Dr. Beer. Dr. Beer has the best and most expensive model for dealing with the C-suite transformation. Okay? It's in my book, edition 3. Why is it there? Because it's the best. But then it falls off because he cascades it down through. And I had a talk with him in Chicago. Yes, Ron, yeah, we probably should consider the large groups. Well, why should he? He's making millions with his C-suite stuff. He doesn't care about it going down to every blood part of the organization. He's happy, man. He's bringing his corporate executives in there and they're charging their $7,000 a day. Man. Okay? But he did say, maybe I should consider that. You're probably right. Another example. I just followed an organization a couple of times with the largest culturally known consulting firm that imposes their values, their culture on the organization. They just, charge the company $3 million to train the top executives. And then they want to spend $5 million to train the employees. And finally, the executive said, stop already. What? This is crazy. And guess what's happening? The flavor of the month of the $3 million spent is mostly evaporating into the air now. Because the people at the top never owned it. I give another story. Organizations spent millions creating their strategic plan. A group from Europe. Okay? I was there to change them. Okay? And we were in the bush, and off-site, and I sensed something wrong in the room. It just wasn't right. And I didn't pick it up in my pre-assessment. What I found out is that no one in the group 100% believed in the strategic plan that they had just spent millions to have created by the big consulting firm from London. Okay? And so, within 2 hours, I had an honest truth conversation, and we redid the entire strategic plan in 2 hours, and they bought it. Okay? And then we went forth. And so, first of all, that top needs to own it. You can't take an expert view from the outside and come in and use it as this consulting firm did in strategy. I dedicated my last editions to Ed Shine, my professor from Pepperdine, and my friend and my hero. We spent 3 days together at Linkage just hanging out at this conference, a year or so ago. And Ed Shine gets the dedication to my book because he was the first to write and publish that expert consultation does not work effectively. What works? Process consultation. He's one of the concepts that you probably should understand. But as I'm going to say in a later video, there's another 10 that I think are important to listen to. Shine, he just wrote a beautiful chapter for me in my 4th edition. In his new book on humility or something, just wonderful. There's a guy who spent his whole life thinking about change. His whole life, from the academic view. Okay? He's maybe the senior active guru right now. Wiseboard is just retired. There's another book you should look at. 4th edition, Workplace Learning. I'll have the history of his view of change in my upcoming edition. Okay? And I have him on video. What's the most important thing he says? You can't shift unless you have 2.5 days. The people have to sleep on the data 2 nights, says the new research from the Neuro Leadership Science of David Rock. Okay, how many thousands of people are going to flock to his conference fall? Thousands from around the world are going to go. It's the new thing. It's the new research. I see no evidence of the latest research in the standards here. And there's another research study that just came out that a person's mind needs so many hours before creative breakthrough and innovation comes. You people are out of spink here with innovation and creativity. That's what's happening. This is about it's nothing creative or innovative about your standards, and you're not talking about it. Okay? I'm trying to find somebody to write about innovation and organizational change, and I can't find it for my next edition. Okay? I got this guy from Stanford, but he hasn't got time. Okay? I've got whatever. So, another little blurt from Rowland. We'll see you on the next one.